Hey guys, welcome to another part-time rambles video. Real quick, today what I really want to talk about is I just finished watching a video from Dr. K. Uh, that's his name. I think his channel would be called Healthy Gamer GG. Uh, my friend was talking about him, and I guess he had recently put out a video. Not I guess, I just watched it. He just put out a video talking about basically why men feel like they're being rejected more um, recently or in general. The video is about 3 hours. I'll put it in the description. If you don't know who Dr. K is, he's a YouTuber, but I think he's also a psychiatrist. Uh, and I think he talks a lot about mental health and different spaces, and hits it from a different way from uh, tapping kind of into the gaming community, I think, or the online community in general. Uh, And so it's a long video. I think it was his first stream on YouTube, and the video was about 3 hours. And I was surprised to hear he had callers, and there's a couple different takes that all like kind of lead to one thing. So it seems, at least from the callers, both women and men both agree that men get rejected more uh, than women, and feel lonely because of it. That's probably true because the man usually has to ask the girl out. So obviously you're going to get rejected more. But if you listen to every single caller, the situation, and this is also from like when you're looking at their lived experiences, all of them went through something, and after they had a bad experience, they changed their behavior. Now, whether that behavior is okay, they changed their behavior because it's beneficial. But it's not, at least for the men, it's not getting what they want. It's not beneficial to their original goal. And to give you a couple examples is, well, like, I'll do both. One of the girls' examples pretty much like someone came up to her at a bar and wanted to buy her a drink, and she said, no. And then he became pushy. So then what she took from that was, I'm just gonna say yes, but I'm not going to that doesn't mean I owe you a conversation, pretty much. Um, which is fair, right? But then now, for her, uh, it's not really messing up any of her goals because she's there at the club to hang out with her friends, so that doesn't matter. But when some of the guys' experiences were them being rejected in some way, uh, ended up having them pretty much go take a different tactic where they avoid the situation altogether. So if a guy asked out a girl he really liked and then just got completely turned down, he would um he would change his tactics, but his tactics would lead to him pretty much never even asking anyone out, just so you wouldn't be rejected. And then the people he does ask out, he makes sure that like it's almost like guaranteed, like for sure. And they're just sitting here talking about the issues, and it's confusing to me because when I'm looking at it and I hear so many people talking about like they're lonely, and now these people are talking about relationships, so maybe this is different. Um, but like to take it like a step back before a relationship, because some of these people said they never even had a girlfriend. Now, just because you haven't had a girlfriend doesn't mean you're not sexually active. Uh, but I would assume if these guys have never had a girlfriend, or if they can't get a girlfriend, then they're probably not having sex either. Maybe that's a bad assumption. Um, but based off the me listening, uh, that's my feeling. And so, and that's why I'm saying take a step back from them because again, their goal is to look for relationships. But like even when we have things like incels, like involuntarily celibate, maybe I'm delusional here, and this is like one of my main questions. So like yes, girls have more options, 100%. Like they're no matter what, regardless of um regardless of what they look like, how they act, how much money they have, it doesn't matter. Girls will always have a lot of matches on whatever dating app online. It's just it is what it is. Um and so like even though we know that's a thing and that for it's the opposite for guys who might you might be lucky to get two matches. It's still confusing to me that okay, am I wrong? If your goal is to just have sex, right? Just have sex. You just want to find somebody and that's it. There's no relationship involved. I I feel like if you're a guy, your chances aren't it's not it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Like if you went on a site, let's say Tinder. If you went on Tinder and just by sheer volume, just hit match with every single person you matched with, you're telling me that within a month you wouldn't be able to find somebody who just wants to you're just meeting up to fuck? Pretty much all I'm trying to say. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. Like is that not am I wrong for thinking that? Like is that not real? Like is there not can you not just do that? I don't understand how you can be I don't understand for either how either gender can ever be involuntarily well obviously I don't girls 100% there's no way. There's always going to be a guy who doesn't care and just wants to get it in. So girls for me it's 100% zero zero. But I feel like the number should be similar for guys as well. Like I think that's my first no, my first issue, and that's something I really tell me if I'm wrong. I just don't understand. The only thing I can see is like you match you even though you find a match and you meet up, like maybe you fuck up meeting them in person. Like you're just that like something's off. Like you're not socially like man, but like I feel like some of those people are saying they can't even get to the point to where they even get to a meetup. And I'm like, you really can't just, hey, this is what I want, meet up here. You're like, you're not getting to that point. Um, I feel like that's not real, and most rejections actually just come from uh misunderstanding, miscommunication, and people being too afraid based off experience. Which, if you watch the video, um, pretty much we're going back now because I just really had to real quick. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't understand. I don't think anybody is really involuntary celibate. You're either being picky or you're just not trying. Like there's no way you can't find one person in this world that's just down to fuck. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's not real. Tell me if I'm wrong. I want to see it. Um, and why? Explain to me how the sheer number alone, man. It might take you a month. You know, like a girl could do it in a day for sure. I understand that, but like with effort and time, not one person. Okay, but moving on from that. Everything else is just like even I mean Dr. K was saying adaptive behavior. Well, he was talking about how people adapt how their adaptive behavior was, but pretty much saying at the end that he was going to look into it, but guys are more lonely, but usually more than not it's because of trauma. Uh and the guys just don't want to admit to it being trauma, which I mean it's true because it attacks our masculinity, blah 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 blah. But more than that, I think it's interesting that nobody really wants like the internet, I think, is a major factor in this. The fact that the internet gives you so many more options. But at that, I mean, the argument is it gives women so many different options that all these guys are getting rejected for it. But if you're looking at like, that should go both ways. Guys should like, I understand that you're not going to match up and you're going to get rejected a lot more, and maybe your fear of rejection is stopping you. But bar your fear of rejection, I refuse to believe there's someone who will ask out just any woman and they're getting 100% no. Just not a single yes. Not at all. Um, like again, and maybe I'm crazy, but let's say you're trying to get into a relationship, and let me move the bar from a dating from sex, not just sex, not from just dating, but a meaningful relationship, something that'll last, I don't know, at least 6 months, right? Now I can see that being now if that's your goal, you're trying to find the one, finding a meaningful relationship. These people who are saying they've never been in a relationship in their 30s, uh, like it's one thing to not be able to find a meaningful relationship until you're 30, right? But to not be in a single relationship until your 30s is what's getting me. Because when someone says, and maybe it's a different description, but if someone says they haven't had a girlfriend, then you've never been in a real relationship. So if you haven't been in a real, you haven't, all this time you haven't been in a relationship, you're telling me out of those years, you were legitimately going for someone or anybody and your rate was zero? Like not only did you not find a relationship that was meaningful, you haven't even found anyone that would even want to even try to be in a relationship. And that just makes me think like something is, I wish there was more information because like it has to be like you're not at a certain point you just stopped asking. You don't ask, you don't try, you don't actually want to date. Like you want to, but you're too afraid to do it. Like you don't do anything. There's no way that you're actively doing something and you find zero relationship. Like how is that happening? Um, another big thing is other than like pretty much doing nothing, the miscommunication. One of the girls was pretty much saying that like all these guys that think they're getting rejected, they're not actually getting rejected. They think they are, but they just see this is the girl's perspective, this is the guy's perspective. They don't mix at all. They should be like this, you know? I mean, no, they shouldn't be the same, but like they should be able to. You should be able to see both sides. And right now they're like blind. They're blind to each other. Uh, it is actually very interesting the different ways girls and guys see how differently they see the same situation. And I mean, one of her explanations was pretty much like, so um, I actually didn't want to do this because of this, but now the guy thinks like I'm rejecting him. I didn't think I was rejecting him. I just, this is what I'm doing instead. Um, if I knew that this was what he was doing, or there would have been a chance for something different to happen. And I was like, I can definitely see that. Now, I do think, interesting enough, there's a couple times, and maybe these are just extremes, where from the examples I've been given, where I'm like, really? How could you see it that way? How could you not see that as the guy asking you out? That's crazy to me. Why? No guy like what was the example? Someone, oh no, no, no. I was listening to I don't think this was from the Dr. K video. I think it was from Destiny, this little debate thing. But someone said that there was a girl on top of a counter. No, no, no. Let me see. 1 second. Someone said that a guy said something along the lines like you look even cuter on that counter. Uh, something like kind of like, but there was a little more, almost like it was charged with like if you get on that counter, like we're gonna do something. And then the girl heard him say that and then jumped on the counter. Now, what they said was that most guys, from their perspective, they're like, okay, that was like a go ahead, like you're interested in me, you're flirting back. And then the girls were like, no, this was just a like a little play. That was just like play. We were just being playful. And I'm like, like if I said, I mean, it's just interesting because I couldn't see it that way. But if that's how different our perspectives are, I can see how the misunderstandings happen. Where you think one thing is a go ahead and it's not. You think one thing is a rejection and it's not. So a lot of people they're just mixed signals. But then like at that point, why don't you just be like, maybe people just can't help but beat around the bush, and like that's fine. No, it's not. Stop. Okay, look, I beat around the bush, but it's the worst thing. It's one of the worst things. Don't do that shit, okay? I think naturally it's you're beating around the bush because maybe you want to get hurt or maybe like you're testing the waters, right? And like I think that's fine. But if you beat around the bush and then you kind of like and then the other person kind of does something that's like, oh, I'm not sure. You're still not sure. Like you're testing the waters and it kind of feels like they're testing the waters at that point, somebody's just got to be blunt, or it is going to be a misunderstanding because that's what you're not. You're nothing's. It's all indirect. So, like to be fair to that situation, I just scenario I brought up, um, no one's being like blunt there. Although it feels blunt, it's not like it's like hey, this, and that. But I think I think at that point, if you don't know, just do it. But then here's the problem. So then, if you're afraid to do that and you're afraid to get rejected, I think you're just not going to do that and then you're going to let it slip by. That's why maybe and that's probably more what I think is the issue um when it comes internet, the misunderstandings, um which is the same thing as just different perspectives, but also um just like bad experiences being applied to the rest of your experiences from then on. Uh that's the only way to me that these things can continue to happen and be this way because in no way do I think someone who's legitimately trying to get in a relationship is actually trying. They might be telling themselves they're trying, like, why can't I get in this relationship? But like you're not actually doing anything. Now, maybe this is what I wanted to ask. Am I delusional? Am I delusional for thinking that? I don't understand how you can be an incel. I don't understand how you can you cannot find a relationship after so much time. I don't understand how uh you can't find a relationship like all these years. I understand being single for that long if you're not looking. I understand that women do reject more men more. I mean that's just true. And that women and men do get rejected more. But the odds are just so in your favor. There's so many places to look, especially now that the internet's around, which is why it's interesting to me that I think it's more of a self-esteem issue and a confidence issue uh, rather than anything else. Now of course some people are probably just like freaks and that's gonna happen, but in no world do I think that someone can legitimately be looking for a partner and not find one. There's something I don't want to say it's your fault, man, because I mean like I could definitely be wrong, but like does anybody sincerely think that if they were to go on Tinder and just legitimately look for somebody for a whole month, and I'm saying you're swiping on everybody. You're saying you would find you would not you would have zero, like no chance, no shot, not even a message. No, I understand that it might not be successful, but you're not even the time of day. No, 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 no. And if that's the case, then go out in person. But what if they do? But I do that. You're doing something wrong. But then now, look. I guess I'm from the opinion that like there's something you're doing that's wrong, and that's probably the wrong way to think about it, which is why I'm like keep ending up with like, am I just delusional? Because I can't see a world where that's legitimate. Like in my head, you have to be doing something wrong, but or you're like maybe it's not you're doing something wrong, and you can say, but you're targeting the wrong type of women. Okay, it's not your fault. Okay, these type of women don't like you. That sucks. Look at different women. Why are you looking at the same type of woman? Is that like it doesn't have to be your fault. I mean, I guess you could say that's your fault because he's choosing that, but like I just refuse. I refuse to believe it. Uh, that's all I really have to say on it. I just wanted to give my I think it was very interesting to see, and I think it's something I want to look into more, uh, statistically on uh, why guys feel like this, and if it's even actually true, um, because it's actually reported that like girls are in general more lonely than men, but when it comes to single men versus single women, that's a different story, which is interesting. In general, women are more lonely or feel more lonely, but I guess that also, but the study was also saying that like men were actually just not. There's probably more. There's definitely more men that are lonely, um, than the stats are saying because they're too afraid to. Oh, that's hard. That's not that might not even be right because that requires people to answer truthfully, and I think a lot of men lie. Uh, I mean, when I say a lot of men lie, I'm not saying like in general. I'm saying lie about their how they feel, their fifis. Um, but that's all I have to say. I really want to know what you guys think. Can there really be an incel 0% win rate? You know, like that's not a like like oh damn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm I'm sorry. Please let me know. Please let me know.